But
It's on now. Then we got the fucking ghetto birds outside.
The ghetto birds.
That's all right. We'll keep it like that. Welcome back to another episode of the Corporate Cowboys podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alex, and I'm here today with your co-host, Alex.
My name is number 2.
Today's proof of life. It's Wednesday, y'all. March 22nd, 2023. Sun's out, guns out, all that good shit.
Guns out, my boy.
All right. And if you're not familiar with the form of this podcast, obviously you should know that, the pattern is that they're 30-minute episodes and we're treating this as a free consultation. Pretend you walked into our office and you're asking this question. Why? Because you know it's what we do. We're in the game of corporate. We're corporate cowboys. And as such, what we do is consult on career moves you could make as a professional.
Sexy.
So the question they're asking here out of r/CareerGuidance is, can they just ghost me? ? Can they just ghost me? Yo, Alex, can they just ghost you?
My ninja, it depends.
It always depends, right?
It depends.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Sometimes. Most times.
Exactly. But they've got to be aware that all action has consequences.
Exactly.
There you go. So they write here, I am a 25 female. I don't know why it matters that she's female. I have recently started job hunting. I had an interview with the president of a company. Damn, okay.
All right.
And she told me that she loves me and offered me the job. However, when I asked for it in writing, you see the plot thickens. When I asked for it in writing, she said, why? Are you just gonna bring this back to your current boss and ask for a raise? And I said, no, I just want to see the benefits.
See the benefits, huh?
I just want to, that low-key sounds like a shitty excuse to then take that offer back to your current boss and get a raise. Yeah. No, I just want to see if you could write an offer. I just want to see if you got written offers.
You got caught in a lie, my boy. You got caught in a lie. No wonder he goes to
They said, I never heard back. Oh, wait, hold up. I skipped a bit. It said,
it ain't looking
good. It said, I sent back the offer after that she signed, and I never heard back until last night when the vice president called me. Ooh, they didn't even email you. They called you. They don't even want records of fucking talking to you.
Wow.
When they called me and said that they never got any of my emails or phone calls, that shit's all in spam probably. It went to the spam box. And I emailed every day, they said. I emailed every day and I called multiple times. And they already went and filled the position. Okay, so if they already went and filled the position, why are you still nagging them? Like, you really want this written offer?
But they fucked up though.
Or maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Like this all took place before they filled the position, and now that they filled it, she's wondering what she did wrong or like why they ghosted her.
Yeah, you gotta have more tact when you're dealing with people, man. Like, you can't just start acting like a Karen and asking for shit in writing, yo.
I would agree.
And there's reasons for that. What do you think are some reasons why a business wouldn't want to put something like that in writing?
Well, check it out. And I didn't finish the body, but the last sentence says, I feel as though, and this might be a reason, that because I asked for it in writing, they got freaked out. Has this happened to anyone else? You see, now, only because we don't, only because we don't know the hypothetical client's background, which are questions that we want to ask, like what industry, what company they're applying to, how big the company is, because we don't know what the organizational chart even looks like. The fact that they even got an interview with the president tells you something, right? There's no hiring manager. So maybe they're fucking up the ass with work, and the president's busy and just can't manage their own operation.
Or it's just that big of a it's just that big of a position.
True.
The CEO has to. So it's one or the other.
It could be one or the other, and it could be others beyond that too. So maybe they're interviewing for, like you're saying, a critical position that the president needs to have some involvement in.
Yeah. I mean, sorry to sidetrack, but you ever see somebody walking hella fast and you think you should be walking fast too, but you ain't walking at all?
They're like, who is he walking away from?
Yo, bro.
He's a fucking...
Right. Sorry, man, but...
all good.
But,
So they're asking if the fact that they asked for it in writing freaked them out. And really, I think when...
So why do you think then, what do you think is some reasons why they would be freaked out by that? By a request to get something in writing?
I think the president made a good point, right? When they said, oh, what are you going to do? Just take this offer? I mean, even though the president was on the defensive, which tells me that the president was either insecure about whatever offer they might have for this candidate, or is just insecure about their operation in general. Like maybe they know that they're about to lowball this bitch and be like, no, what are you going to do? Take my offer back to your home base?
And I mean, what other conclusion do you have, right? If somebody says like, look,
can I get it in writing?
Look,
and they just freak out about it.
If you ask what the benefits are, that's a different story. But if like, what are the benefits? Because you're trying to make an informed decision on what you want. But if you've already explained, like, here are the benefits, here are, here's the potential pay, and such is good, right?
What Alex is getting at is that our hypothetical client could have found out those benefits through the interview process. You could have just asked for it.
And I'm guessing that they did. And after they found out, they asked if they could have it in writing.
They wanted a little summary in writing.
So, and if I'm an employer, I'm like, well, the fuck do you need it in writing? I just told it to you.
Okay, and that might have sent off some type of red flag.
And so that's probably why they were thinking that, right?
Yeah.
But there's also another reason I can think of that I would be nervous about putting this in writing.
Why?
It's because if I put in writing, what these benefits are, right? Then
you kind of show your hand as far as a first offer that...
Can 2 words. Reliance damages.
Okay.
Reliance damages. And now, our viewers aren't going to really understand that, but I think you do a little bit.
Yeah.
If you quit your job in reliance to this information, that you're going to get this job offer and the evidence is out there because it's in writing.
Yeah.
And you don't actually want to hire them later, but they quit their job. Now the employer that didn't hire you
is on the hook.
Could be on the hook.
That's right.
Could be on the hook.
Could be.
So
you may or may not have a case.
They don't want to put it in writing what they're offering you right now, because if you accept, that's offer acceptance. And what's that?
That'd be a contract. That's a binding agreement.
That's a binding agreement.
Yeah.
So employers don't want to put themselves in a bind. So, I mean, look, if you really want something in writing, you have to be tactful about it.
Definitely.
And so the only way I can think of being tactful about it
is to start in writing.
Is either starting writing or send a follow-up email.
Ooh, I like that, actually. So you rope them into responding with the offer.
Exactly. And that's what I do a lot when I'm looking for an admission.
Yeah.
Right? I just follow up with email. Hey, thank you. Really appreciate, the interview, the opportunity.
So that way you, like, if even if it's on the hypothetical client, to summarize the benefit points, right? Even if it's on them, then all the president has to do then is respond with clarification, like, oh no, you got this point wrong. Our pension plan is actually this. Our fringe benefits are these others, right? So that way you still get the information you were looking for, but you're the one who initiated that.
Exactly.
And so they're not so much on the defensive.
And you're not sending that email to get it in writing. You're sending that email because you're thanking them and summarizing what you're thanking them for, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to go into particulars about how that email could look or should look.
Yeah,
that's more of an individual basis where you need like an individual consultation.
That's more strategic. That's higher level.
But there are ways to word things in an email after you finish a verbal negotiation, like and goes beyond employment, right? This goes in just in verbal agreements.
This is record keeping 101.
If you have a verbal agreement with somebody
that you don't want the terms to change,
you don't want the terms to change, or that you want to put in writing,
exactly,
it's really easy to do that by following up with an email of a summary of what you guys talked about, because that can be used as evidence later of a verbal agreement that was made.
That's right. That's right. That has been a common theme of the podcast, is to keep record, keep a paper trail.
And then they're going to respond, and they're going to be like, yes, it was nice to meet you too. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
That's right.
They didn't conflict with anything you said. They, confirmed that they seen what they seen.
Yeah.
And it helps you. So follow-up emails are an amazing way to kind of do that without fucking yourself up and asking for writing and looking like a douchebag.
Right. Now that's I think going to be general advice. You can take that as
no offense. I mean, I think I've done probably something similar, honestly.
And what Alex and I just covered in the past 5 minutes is general advice that any aspiring professional could take note of and apply in their day-to-day life as they're dealing with corporations, as they're dealing with executives, is to keep the shit that helps you in writing and keep the shit that might prejudice you. I don't know, like, you obviously don't want to have your face on camera if you're committing crimes, right? Yeah. But if recording some deal terms, or if recording certain terms and getting confirmation that those terms are like you heard them, then you definitely want to get that in writing.
Yeah. And I mean, you just got to be tactful about it. Like I said, you got to be tactful about it. You want to keep records. You want to, put yourself in the best position. And there's a way to do that without sounding alarms. Like, you don't want to sound legal alarms.
Absolutely. So,
you know what I mean?
to answer the question, the first question is, can they just ghost you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a fact of life, right? If your one night stand can ghost you on what is it? Fucking
Tinder?
Yeah.
Tinder one night stand?
Because I'm not on that shit.
Yeah.
If your one night stand can ghost your ass on Tinder,
rolling through those matches,
they can ghost your ass. They can ghost your ass in corporate and won't even give you a second thought.
Right machine.
Right? And then having time to assess their situation with the hypothetical client. They definitely want to keep account of who it is that they're speaking with, because it's the president after all, and the vice president. So it tells us a little bit that the president is now relegating this candidate, like handing this candidate off to the vice president. So they're not dealing with them anymore. So it's apparent that you weren't really going to get the offer to begin with, right? If you started with the president and then they just lowered you in rank to somebody who was not the hiring manager or not the onboarding manager, it looks like you're not going to get an offer.
Nope.
It looks like you're not going to get an offer.
Looks like you fucked that up, my friend.
Now,
and I wanted to add lastly, man, like, just because you didn't get and if your plan was to go back to your employer and show them this offer, like, you don't have to show your old employer your offer. Like, you don't have to have that bitch in writing.
Yeah.
You could just tell them verbally, like, hey, I got this offer from this other place for, $10,000, $20,000 more.
Alex is over here answering questions that the hypothetical client isn't even asking. That's the type of service we give at the Corporate Cowboys, right? We would be asking this in an interview. We would be giving them some follow-up questions like, well, how much do you make where you currently are?
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, all I'm saying is that, like, you don't need it in, like, negotiations can happen without you getting that, like, you can negotiate your pay
where you are now
without evidence.
Without
it's not a courtroom, yo.
Exactly.
You don't need evidence in a negotiation.
You aren't taking your current supervisor to court and saying, yo, I deserve this much because I got this offer.
So I don't even understand why somebody would need this in writing. Like, I told you how to tactfully do it.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand what the need is to get the offer in writing.
No, that's fine. What the listeners need is
like, worst comes to worst, if your employer says no, you'd be like, okay, that's fair. You don't want to match the employment. Cool. And then I go back and I accept that job.
Right.
And then I would, once I sign the employment contract over here, I'm like, okay, let me give my people 2-week notice. And I'd be like, okay, you guys didn't match my offer. I'm quitting.
Well, we don't lose anything by
Yeah.
answering their question, right? I mean,
And
to us, it's a job well done, Alex. But
you know,
but you are totally right. If the reason that they're asking this question is because they wanted that offer to then take back and renegotiate where they currently are, they could just start those negotiations, like you're saying, on the strength that they know how much they're worth, right? If they know what the market looks like, they can put together a proposal.
Yeah.
They can negotiate their own package
Shit.
without the need of soiling their name at somebody else's firm or soiling the firm by saying, oh, they freaked out because I wanted to offer.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Now it sounds like they demanded an offer, right? Because they weren't even asking for it. They weren't doing it logically, tactfully, like you said. And they fumbled their own bag. They fumbled their way out of the bag.
and if you need help drafting a coherent letter
Then you
about
can-
like, you know, your proposal to, like, because you don't have to go into your boss's office and be like, hey, you know, I want this raise, or I got this raise.
I know how much I'm worth,
Like,
fucking ass.
I mean, depending on how the structure of the business is or corporation is,
Yeah.
right, that you're working for, you can draft a letter or get help drafting a letter on your behalf, and just send it to your employer, whether that's HR's office or your direct supervisor, outlining, you know, what your thoughts are, and let them respond through email or through letter, most likely through email.
That's right.
And then, you know,
So if you need help,
start a dialogue there.
if you need help starting that dialogue, need help getting the wheels turning,
Yeah.
right? You can reach out to us. You can find us on Instagram. That's at Corporate Cowboys with the Z. Shoot us a DM. On Patreon, you can subscribe to any number of tiers as a member. That's the Corporate Cowboys podcast. And we're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. And if you want to shoot us a donation to keep this podcast free, by all means do that. There are a couple of donation links out there floating around. You're a smart cookie. You can find them. We have a little bit of time, so usually what I do, and Alex may or may not have been a part of this in the past, but we'll read a couple of comments in the comment section, right? Because this being Reddit has an affinity for attracting certain individuals, all sorts of individuals, some woke, some based, and everybody in between, right?
Fucking assholes.
And the way they're categorized is usually the top comments are the ones that have been upvoted the most, right? So what we'll do is read one or two of them and then critique whatever comments they leave, right? Because sometimes they might have personal experience or anecdotal experience that we could either approve or knock.
Yeah.
Right. So the first comment here says, in response to, has this happened to anybody else, right? Has anybody else been ghosted? The first comment reads, that's a big red flag, and you probably dodged a bullet. Dog, it doesn't say they were applying to the company. They were interviewing for it, right?
Yeah.
So it says, if they overreact with a standard practice / request like this, just imagine how worse it would be when you're on board.
I mean,
A person sounds salty.
I mean, they do, man, and it's obviously somebody who's never like been like on the higher management side, where you're talking not just about operations, but you're talking about overhead, you're talking about liability, you're talking
At the
about,
executive level.
you know, at the executive level.
That's right.
Because there are significant concerns, like we already talked about before, that you have to consider when putting anything in writing. I think that's one thing that businesses have learned, is that, like, you know, anytime you put your name on something, you put it in writing.
You're committing you're committing yourself to what you wrote.
And it's an offer, and there's legal implications to an offer.
Exactly. Unless what you want is this corporation to detail or to summarize what it is you talked about in the interview, and then in big bold letters at the top, read, this is not an offer.
Yeah.
Good luck negotiating with that piece of paper at where you currently are, right?
Yeah.
Because your manager is just going to laugh you out of the office and say, This Shannon isn't even an offer. Get the fuck out of here.
And I don't think that is a standard practice. Is that really a standard practice to get a written offer from somebody?
Not at all.
After an interview?
It's like, if anything,
if you want to proceed and you want to accept a job offer, standard practice is that once you come in and sign the paperwork, then we'll give you the packet and you can take it home and fill it out.
They give you a written offer to sign.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it isn't going to be like, well, because you asked for it, we're going to give it to you. It's usually when they're onboarding you, they give you some time to read it before you sign it.
Yeah. And it's totally acceptable to take that offer that they give you while you're so like you haven't quit your first job yet.
Yeah.
You take the offer. You say, I want the offer. Let me sign the paperwork. You take that paperwork, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to take this home. I'm going to read it. And when you come back and you have it signed, you let them know, hey, I'm going to start on this day because it gives me 2-week notice, right?
Yeah.
So now you can quit your other job after you've already secured employment and you've read through the contract. So it's just about being smart about what you're doing and asking what you need when. I don't think that comments. I think he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not standard practice.
I mean, if we want to give them the benefit of the doubt, then it's possible because the hypothetical client did state that the president told her that she loved her and that she offered her the job. So she makes it sound like there was a concrete offer and she was just requesting it in writing.
You know how many girls I said I liked them after they sucked my dick?
But you said you liked me.
Yeah. Cause
I like the way
you suck. I like the way you suck, my girl. I don't mean.
Yeah, that don't mean it was an offer. Like, that don't mean.
I ain't down to spend my life with you. I like you. You cool.
Oh shit.
You can, you know.
All right, and then damn, the next comment is no better. It just says a dysfunctional business. Move on. You don't know the first thing about business. If you run into any business and you get to talking to the manager, any fucking manager, the manager on duty, the president, quote unquote, and they like you, they love you, what are you gonna say? Okay, let me get an offer.
You gotta go through legal first, my boy.
Gotta go through legal first, man.
Gotta go through legal counsel.
Yeah, I mean, benefit of the doubt, I suppose the president is managing a lot more of the operation than they're supposed to.
And then somebody else will do your job and they won't be weird about it, you know what I mean? Asking for like written shit, fool. Like, I'm gonna hire the other dude who's just quiet, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, there is a way to negotiate
looking like a camera,
reasonably without
motherfucking snitch. A fucking whistleblower.
Whistleblower.
FBI on my shit after hiring your ass. Fuck that.
Someone else says, here's someone who's reasonable. The third comment, by the way, says you dodged the bullet. I doubt this bitch is dodging bullets.
Yeah. I doubt you're dodging bullets, my friend.
The fourth one here, the fourth comment reads, in answering to the question, can they just ghost me? They say yes. Yes, they can. And by the sound of your post, it sounds like they did. It sounds like they did.
The man knows what he's saying.
And fortunately too, right? Yeah. Somebody else responds to that. Fortunately too, because if I was, say, put yourself in the president's shoes, right? Let's hypothesize. Put yourself in the president's shoes and really think about you're interviewing a client, right? And it may only be informational. But you say you like the client, you offer them the job. The fact that they want it in writing, or the fact that they ask for it in writing, I mean, it should push the president to get that shit in writing because you want to seal the deal with this candidate and you want to bring them on board. You want to have them on contract, right?
Yeah.
If they ghost you, then that's on the president.
Yeah.
That's on the president, right? Because the president put their word out, gave you their word that they would hire you, or that they would at least offer you the job. And if they don't, it's because they found somebody else. You do it moving, right? Keep in mind though, if you are gonna be moving like a corporate cowboy, then take account of who you spoke with, what level, what rank they were at, the president, the vice president, the name of the organization, the industry you're in. And in your mind, map them with the rest of the fish in the sea.
And be tactful about it, yo. And I can't stress that enough. Be tactful about it. Like yeah, you want to get all the information you can in writing. You want to get all the information you can just in general.
Right.
But just don't look like 5-0 when you're doing it, yo. Like be slick.
Yo,
be
can
smooth.
you say that again as you're holding like the lapel mic closer to their mouth? Yo, say that shit again. Yo,
man.
You brought the drugs?
Yo, man, be slick, bro.
You up here hella close.
Hey, yeah, we got him. We fucking got him.
Yo, man. That's what I'm saying. Because, a little discreet goes a long way sometimes, man.
A little discretion goes a long way as always. Yes, sir.
Discretion, but also discreetness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you want to be observing everything, but sometimes you don't want people to know that you're observing everything.
That's right. That's right. Folks, well, I'm going to leave you there with the 5-minute, what is it, 4 minutes? We're like 4 minutes early, man.
Yeah, go brush your teeth,
I
man.
think this was easy. Easy teasy, bro. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
All right, take care of yourselves.
Well, last thing.
Go ahead, Alex.
Last thing. If you don't like this podcast, fuck your dead homies.
Suck my fucking